Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 220. This morning I released Coach's Corner Episode 6, and I didn't even know it until I heard the episode that Coach and his wife both may have had COVID after that cruise. But so that episode was about an Alaskan cruise. I'm sure you've already heard it by the time you hear this episode, and glad that Coach is able to contribute. If any of you guys have any clips that you want to send me, I'm happy to listen and possibly even put it on the show. So I'd appreciate that. Today is Sunday afternoon. Normally on Sunday we head out for a little bit of blackjack, but I've been so tired, and I figure I've driven about 5,000 miles the last 2 weeks, so we're going to go for a short one today, just maybe 200 miles round trip. We're going to go to a casino, play some slots, then we're going to spend the evening playing poker, and we're not going to stress about going home tired or any of that stuff. We're just going to take our time, relax, try to enjoy our time, and try to make a little bit of money. I was thinking back to, what was that? I guess that would be Friday, and after I'd finished everything up and I was heading home, I decided to stop at the one casino. Didn't add that much time to my trip, and for the first time in a while, I felt like I was going to get completely wiped out, that I was going to lose, a huge amount on that table. I guess I'm not going to get completely wiped out, but I mean, I'm going to go to minus 10K and have to leave. I really felt really lousy at the beginning of that session. I was down 2,000 right away and just feeling awful. Switched over to another table. That one was just as bad. Real quick, lost 500, and then I was in for a total of 3,000. And something just told me that everything was not going to work out. And then all of a sudden, things started to level off. I started to get a little bit of confidence. And as many times as I've been through this, the thousands of hours and all that kind of stuff, thousands of sessions, much less thousands of hours. I think last year we had like 1,600 total sessions between blackjack and slots. But all that time, all that experience, and still sometimes you feel like you're in a death spiral, and no matter what you're doing, you're going to keep heading down. And it takes a lot to get out of that. And you almost want to go back to minimum bet, like a lower limit, and slowly grind back, because in the long run you're going to make the money. And being down 6,000 or 7,000 does not feel good, because when the big bet time comes, then you have to win, or you're forced into a CTR, and no one wants to do a currency transaction report if they don't have to, because they don't want to turn their name over. And when you get to that point, that's just like, okay, I know I'm going to get a big count soon, and I know I'm going to be in for 500 or 1,000 or 2,000, whatever your limit is, and it has to work, or I'm forced to walk away down $6,000 or $8,000 or $9,000, and that's the worst feeling of all, knowing that you have the advantage, and knowing it's going to take me a week or 2 or 3 weeks to break even on a session because it was so bad. But it did turn around, and it turned around pretty strongly. And sometimes it works by the numbers, and other times it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like I repeat myself on this stuff, but you can't really convey the emotion that goes along with it sometimes. If you're in a faraway place and you don't care, you fire away and you lose 10 grand in half an hour, that's not a big deal, because that was a burner place anyway, and you weren't going to come back to it. But when it's a place you want to come back to, now you have that limitation of, okay, I don't want to turn my name over. Once they have my name, they always have my name. And then you start thinking the worst, like, okay, I've got 4 big bets before I max out my buy-in amount, and that's always disheartening. But anyway, today, like I said, we're going to head off to a slot casino first, so that's what we're going to do right now. It's a beautiful day outside, 68 degrees. The high for today is only going to be 69. I went to the dollar store this morning with my son and noticed they had raised the price. You know, they already raised it a year or two ago from $1 to $1.25. Now it's $1.50, and you know, all their products have a $1.25 printed on them, and they put stickers over them all because now it's $1.50. But you know, it doesn't sound like much, but you know, it's gone up 50% in the last 2 years. Is quite a bit. But we went there, and what were we there for? Oh, we were buying batteries. So we got all the batteries and stuff we wanted, and I gave him a few more of the Pokemon full art cards that I got as part of the deal that I bought for him, and he was pretty happy, and he was showing them off to his friends and stuff, so that was fun. And a friend of the family came over, and she's been going through a lot because she found out she had pancreatic cancer, and we just love her. She's like our best friend or family member, sister, you know, all of that. And I thought she was going to look bad because she's been going through a bunch of chemo, but she looks great. So hopefully she pulls through all that, and we're praying for her and pulling for her all the time. So I got a chance to see her, and I tried to stay home as long as I could because she left with my wife, and I was waiting until they got back before I left. I wanted to see her again before I left for the day, but it was starting to get a little bit late, so I ended up taking off. So off to the casino right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back, and again, Spotify is having issues again. I mean, it's posting my stuff, but all the numbers are zeroed out. It shows zeros for views, zero this, zero this, zero this, but then when you go to the graphs, it shows the right numbers. So I don't know what their issue is. I don't know if it's because I started with a different company and it was bought by Spotify, and I have issues sometimes, but you know, I'm already uploading WAV files, which are gigantic compared to MP3s and other things, MPEGs and stuff like that. But anyway, I went into this casino, and it was pretty busy. I just went around my normal route, did my normal stuff. There's only one machine I couldn't, two machines I couldn't check, and from what I could see, there was nothing on them. When I walk in, I go into the main area, then into the high limit, then I go to the back area, and I find a play. And it was a 50-cent spin, and I just put a $5 bill in and spun that through, and ended up driving that $5 to like 78 or something like that, and then found another play, played that one, got up to like 176 I believe, and then went to the back area. It was like the third time I'd gone back there waiting for people to get off machines, and I found a beautiful play, a play that no matter what the bet amount was, I would have played it, and it went horrendously. It was a $4 a spin play, and as I was playing it through, it was getting worse and worse and worse. The payout was so low, and then finally it hit, and luckily I hit one of the big jackpots along the way, and I ended up ahead $40 on that machine, only $40, but I had that $176 or so dollars in the machine. So all that was gone, and another 100 and another 100 before it finally hit. And when it hit, it paid out a total of $373, which is what brought me up to being ahead 400. What did I just say? Oh man, $211, right? Plus 7, yeah, $211. So I ended the session ahead 211, and it should have been so much better than that. Then, like I said, there was only a couple machines I couldn't check, and it didn't look like anything was there, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But right now we're going to move on. We're going to I need to put myself on the list at the poker club, and we're going to try to play some Pot Limit Omaha or some No Limit Hold'em. We'll see which ones we're able to get in on. Obviously, I'm going to try to make Pot Limit Omaha my new game. I just feel like there's more opportunity to make bigger money on it than there is in No Limit Hold'em, just to get my hourly a little bit higher, and we'll see what happens with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself on both those lists right now. We're going to move on to the poker club on this beautiful day, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back, and I played poker for approximately 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours of poker. I actually should note that because I need to start keeping track of my time and my wins and losses and all that kind of stuff. I did not play Pot Limit Omaha. There was not a table open, but there was an extremely lively 1-2 game going on. Like ridiculous. Like I saw more than one $2,000 pot in this game, and so what did I do here? I did not take a lot of notes, but we'll kind of just go over some of the stuff that happened and how it went down. I tell you the most memorable hand that happened. Let's see here. I had a 6-7 of clubs and ended up in an all-in hand. How many ways? 1, 2, 3. There were 4 of us in an all-in hand. Came out to approximately $1,500 or $1,600 hand. At that point, I had bought in for $200. I was up to like $370, somewhere in there. There was a lot of dead money in there too. But so I had 6-7 of clubs, and the flop was 8-5, and I called whatever the bet was, and then the turn was a second club. So now I had a club draw and an open-ended straight draw, and I ended up all in right there because I was forced all in because bigger bettors were in there, and one guy had gone all in with queens, and another guy had gone all in with Jack 2 of spades. Jack 2. What is he doing here? Jack high, or a pair of jacks? He's going all in with a pair of jacks, and the other guy had pocket 8s, and the flop was that 8-5 jack. So he had a set, the other guy had a pair of jacks, the other guy had a pair of queens, and I had an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. And the turn came a king offsuit, and the river came a 6 offsuit, and I did not win. So that was the most memorable hand that happened. But I can tell you I ended up winning 23 hands. I know that because of how much I tipped. I tipped $1 a hand, except for one hand I tipped $2, which was a really big hand. That was like a, I don't know, $600, $700 hand, something like that. But the key here is the play. How did I play? How did I do? How comfortable was I? Normally, on a game like this, with bets as high as these bets were, I normally would leave. I wouldn't play. But I was calm. I called the big raises on the river when I thought I had the best hand, including one time when I had a pair and the guy goes all in pretty big on me and I win. I raised pre-flop when there were multiple people in there, when I had a good pair. And I originally bought in for 200. Like I said, I got it up to like 370, 380. Hung around there for a while and lost it all on that hand. Rebought for 200 more and lost it pretty quick, so I was in for 400. Rebought for 200 more, and it took about an hour to lose that, so now I'm in for 600. And rebought again. This time the game was getting big. Everybody had 2,000 plus, almost everybody had 2,000 plus in front of them. I bought in for 300, thinking I'm going to double or triple up easily with the way that they're playing, and just grinded away and just relaxed and played my game and didn't panic. I knew I had tons of time. I mean, I could have played for 10 hours and still gotten home, earlier than if I had gone on my normal trips that I do on a Sunday night. So I wasn't panicking, and I still could go back again tonight. I'm not positive yet. But I was down at my low point. I was down about 780, somewhere in there. I was down to like 120, maybe 140 out of my 900, and ended up leaving plus $73. And actually, my last two laps, I didn't play a hand. It was just dead. On the last hand, I had King Jack off suit. I was first to act. I just called the minimum, which was 2, and the guy made it 30, and he'll make it 30 on anything because he knows how to play well, and he'll get you off hands. And I thought about it for a minute, and I didn't call. I folded my hand, and 2 people called, and the flop had a king on it, and he ended up showing his hand, who was a 6-7 suited. So, 6-7 of hearts. So, I think I played pretty well. I probably would have played that hand if I was going to stay longer, but I hadn't played a hand for 2 orbits, and that was going to be my last one. I'd already racked up. I didn't want to sit back down or start chasing or anything like that. I was comfortable with what I did and how I did. There was a point where we were playing for about 2 laps, and I did participate a little bit in this. We were playing 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 40, so obviously that got big. We might have played 20, 40, 80 at one point, which means the top stacks only had 30 big blinds, which is unbelievable. On a 1-2 game with over $2,000 in your stack, you have less than 30 big blinds. 30 blinds, but or bets. So how did I feel? I felt pretty good, but the more I played and the more I saw these players who were good players who do it for a living, the more I realized that this is a really, really hard game to make a living at. I can walk into a casino and make 500 at blackjack, and it's not a big deal. It's an hour or less. Obviously, I'm risking a lot more. I may have 5,000 or 6,000 on the table at that point, but it's all calculated. Just like with these guys, they might risk. A lot of these guys were talking about how much they were in for: 28, 17, 21, 2,500. The one good thing about this game is that there's no rake. So they did have a high hand, which I think they took $1 or $2 a hand for, but it was every half hour. It paid about $200 to $400, depending on how high your hand was. So you really weren't losing anything. But other than that, there's no rake. So you could play for 12 hours and pretty much have the same money on the table as when you started. Unlike a lot of these games that we used to play, the underground games, where everybody would buy in for 200 or 300. By the end of the night, there's $150 left on the table, and everyone's wondering where it went. So I was comfortable with it, but it makes me a little bit uneasy because I just feel like there's no big future in it. There's no dependable pot limit Omaha game in my area that I'm allowed to go to. Now, there are poker clubs around, and I haven't really examined all of them. I know that within 2 hours of me, there's probably 10 poker clubs, so there may be some games around that I could play. But do I want to do that? I mean, I understand if I go to a casino and I'm playing blackjack and I have chips and, I go play some pot limit Omaha, win a little, lose a little, get my game fine-tuned and all that kind of stuff, but there's no local game that's a good game that I can play long-term. So some more things to think about there. All right, so we ended the session ahead $73. I am planning a trip. I'm probably going to get the plane tickets this week. I do have 4 personal days at work that I haven't taken, and although we are losing one of our few people that we have left on our team, I think I will probably use some of those days next week, or not next week, next month, and probably go somewhere either south or west. So that's my idea, and probably go to a place where there's at least 3 or 4 casinos, spend 3 or 4 days there, go there multiple shifts, use a rental car. I don't know about a disguise or not, but that's what I'm thinking about doing. So anyway, right now I am going to go back to the casino and play some slots and see what happens here. I mean, I got so many hands I could talk about, but I don't think the hands are the story today. I think the story is learning, developing, getting better. I did really well on my betting, on my calling, on my folding. I think I only called when I knew I shouldn't have, maybe once, and I lost that hand for like $80 or $100. And I was hard on myself, but not that hard on myself, because that could have gone either way. But I had a feeling I was doing the wrong thing there, and I was right. My hand wasn't good enough, and there were 2 straights on the board possible. But this guy would bet with anything. But anyway, let's head over to the casino and see how that goes. And then, depending on timing, I may go home, go to sleep. I may go back to the poker club and play some more. So that's what's going on right now. You're all caught up, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, I am back. It is 10:15 p.m., so still pretty early considering it's a Sunday, and just leaving this place. So just a quick rundown here. I went into this place, and I'm not optimistic about finding anything, because it's been all night. People have been in and out of here and everything, and I didn't expect to find too much. But I make a lap of the whole place, and I don't find anything. And I'm just finishing up my last couple machines, and I see a play. And it's similar to the last time I was here, where it was like a 50-cent play. This is a different version of the same game. It was a little over $1 a play. And I played that one through, and I just put a $10 bill in. Last time I put a $5 bill in, and ended up ahead like $35 on that one. And then I took another lap around, and there was one machine that was reserved. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'm obviously not going to get a chance to look at that. But I came back around, and the person had already played it through, but had left something on there. It was a very low denomination, very cheap spins. And I hit on the 5th spin, paid me another $36, so that was good. And then when I had first gotten in there, I'd gone through the high limit. There were 4 main machines that I checked in the high limit. One of them was occupied. I checked the other 3, and on my way out, I went to check the one that was occupied, and there was a borderline play there. I decided not to play that one, but I saw the guy who was sitting at the machine I just checked at another one of the machines that I like to check, and I'm like, let's take a look at this. And it was in a really good spot, but it was at a quarter denomination, so it was an expensive spin. And I waited around, I walked around, came back around. I didn't go too far away, just in case. And he ended up finally giving up on the machine, but obviously it's expensive. I mean, it's $7.50 a spin. It's not that expensive, but it's 30 lines at 25 cents a line. And I hit for a nice line hit, which was 1,099 quarters, which was $274.75. And then finally hit what I was going for, and it paid terribly, absolutely terribly for what it was. And it paid me $404.75, and I ended the session overall ahead $199. So could have been way better. Could have been probably $500 better, if not more, probably more. But it just didn't work out. But still, we're up about $500 for the night. We're still in, local, relatively local. So can't complain about that. and it's still early. So now at this point, I need to decide what to do. And I thought, you know what I haven't done in a long time? I was just telling my wife today, I haven't been to any of the fast food places, and probably coming up on at least a few months, if not longer. So I decided I'm going to get some food, and I just ordered from Wendy's. They had like a 2 for $8. 2 for $8? Are you kidding me? It used to be like a year ago. It was like 2 for $5. But I got 2 for $8 Dave's singles, and I added bacon to both of those. And I'm going to go ahead and pick that up right now. I'm going to sit in the car, relax, having it with lettuce instead of bread. I'm going to relax a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and decide what we're going to do. I'm either going to go back to the poker club, or I'm going to go home and get some rest. So I haven't decided which way I'm going to go with it yet, but we're going to just relax a little bit, enjoy our food, and then decide what to do from there. So that's what's going on right now. I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So got our food, and we're going to head home. We got a regular day tomorrow. We're just going to relax at home tonight and actually get sleep on a Sunday for once. Be happy that we made some money and get ready for next week, and we'll just go from there. Let's do our segments. What did you eat today, MW? This morning, my wife made some nice roast, beautiful roast, nice salad, cucumber, tomato salad with some feta cheese, just delicious. I'm going to give that a jack on a scale of 2 through 8. That's very generous, the jack. And then tonight I had 2 Wendy's singles, and I give those about an 8 on a scale of 2 through 8. They weren't even that warm, so not very good. And what did you tip today, MW? Today I tipped a total of $24 on 23 winning hands for an average of just over $1 a hand. And what did you learn today, MW? I learned that I needed a little bit of a break. I got my break. We'll see how we feel tomorrow. We're actually going to be awake for our team meeting tomorrow, and hopefully things go well. And then we'll hopefully have a big week this week, and we'll find out. We're going to do this together. From now, I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.